Oh,
this past week.
I thought that I was beyond all these internet problems after I hardwired my computer, but no, of course not. Okay,
I think we're
I
I
think
think
we're
we're
back.
back.
I think we are too. Let me refresh my own so I can make sure that, yeah,
Yeah, we're
we have.
back.
I'm going to turn mine off actually to save as much bandwidth as I can. Okay, yes, please refresh everybody. Of course, you can't hear me, but yes, Lauren already told you. So, no, yeah, what this will do is as you are working on the boosting of the healing serum, what was your question? I think I lost you as there was a separate part to it.
Mm, um. So what's my boon, Greg?
Your boon?
My
Um,
boon.
yeah,
I'm just
your
looking
boon.
at my notes, and I forgot.
I have your boon down. Your boon's not coming around yet.
Okay. I'm just working on the healing thing, enhancing that. We're gonna need it.
Okay, so as we pull back out from this area and as you are looking around, let us now go back to Kate. As Kate, you have this amulet, and you really kind of need, as you mentioned before, to see what it exactly was that Jack Parsons had invested in this piece that it became so important that he gave it to Wally to give to you. And as you stated in your own like kind of pre-narrative, the only real person that you believe that you could trust to do this and would do it for you that isn't a Dietrich is Sabella. And so you are searching Sabella out. And where is Sabella?
Sabella is in the middle of her own research session. That's not a euphemism. On the pocket watches and the puzzle box, and she's gathered any Dietrichs that she thinks would be helpful, along with Poet Dietrich, who she is often seen with around the castle.
Okay. Poet Dietrich is interested but not very in the proceedings as you are currently having the pocket watches and the puzzle box looked at, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you have gathered the occult Dietrich specialist, the Cthulhu Mythos Dietrich specialist, the Caduceus Dietrich specialist, and just as kind of a bevy of peripheral skill sets, we're going to say that there too are five, not counting Poet Dietrich. You have a group of five as they are looking over everything, and they seem to be doing a whole lot of hms and has as they look at the pocket watches, but more importantly, they seem to be focused on the puzzle box, to the point where they haven't said much of anything as they're just kind of doing what you originally did and are leaning over these things and looking at them. They've dismissed the watches in all intents and purposes. You may ask your questions. I'll get you. You can have two questions before Kate comes in.
Okay. Since Poetry Trick's there, every time they make like a very serious face, I mock it where they can't see toward him. Because I am very mature all the time.
He pretends like he can't see you, even though every time you do it, he smiles as he turns the page of the book that he's reading.
Good. Great. Then what I want to ask in regards to the puzzle box, I tell them about how it changed words and what it says and who it was ostensibly from. So I point out the little raised part on the left side. I don't know, what do you think it does?
What language was it in? Was this English?
Yes.
They all bend over. Oh, I don't know. There's conversations.
I
English.
do this over their head.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
As they look for a moment, they notice the raised part that seems to have, as I mentioned before, the raised part has a couple visible characters, nothing that spells anything on it. It doesn't have the or a part of a word. It's just if it is something, it's something that doesn't, in English at least, Doesn't look like it's either beginning, the middle, or the end of any type of word that you've recognized. But when they all look at it, they turn for a moment and then they look back up and they say, "What letters do you see here?"
I look.
You see like an E, an X, a G, and like a T.
An E, an X, a G, and a T.
As they all go back over and start writing things down, and the one that seems to be speaking for them, which is the Cthulhu mythos, Dietrich, says to you, "We do not see that. We see numbers."
I make my eyes big too. What numbers?
It's a 4. It's an 8. And he thinks it's a 12. I think it's a 1 and a 2. And you see the like the occult Dietrich. It's a 12. It's a 1 and a 2.
Great. Okay. Does that mean anything?
Well, the watches that you have, they are ways to get into the purple. If you activate them, you can get into the purple. Or, if you are in certain spaces that have been prepared, you can go forward or backward in time with these.
Both at the same time only.
Yeah.
Great.
But
Well-
only in certain places. Only it doesn't work everywhere. But this box, this box has something to do with the purple, but it is far grander than these pocket watches. We believe that it has no such limitations for preparation of space, but we don't know how it works.
Huh. Well, if it was seemingly given to me by my grandfather, I wonder. I haven't done a reading on it ever.
This is given to you by your grandfather? As they all get over top of each other again.
This time
After
I'm
a
not quiet when I do it.
Right. They don't notice as they are just deep in research. And again, just the
Laugh out loud.
the one that was the Cthulhu mythos Dietrich, who has been doing all the talking, falls back as occult Dietrich steps forward and he says, "It's a 12. It's the two of you. If the two of you are within a certain proximity, this box will work. I don't know how. But if you are close, it will work."
Me and my grandpa.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying it with a lot of confidence, Joseph, so that sounds great.
If the two of you are together, it will work.
That's what I'm picking up, sir.
We need to get the two of you together.
Right, we need to find him.
And Cthulhu mythos Dietrich says, "I believe that would be monumentally irresponsible to get the two of them. I don't care what you think. Two of them together, it will work. I said 12, you said 1 and a 2. They would know."
Thank you.
So we
so much.
get you together and the box will work.
Right. Well, I don't know if there's a Dietrich who particularly knows where Lewis Ives is.
Do we have a Lewis No.
Do you have a Werner Schmidt one? Because he's with him, I think.
Oh, is he with? So you're likely with Caduceus, but and he seems to calm down a bit as occult Dietrich realizes that he kind of got a little ahead of himself. I apologize, Miss Ives. I will see. We have other artifacts that require a partnership to activate. So, perhaps we can glean something from them. They are minor compared to this, but we will work on this. And as Cthulhu Mythos seems like he wants to say something else, he just literally turns and just go. No, you've done asking your questions. Let's go. And they start to move as if they're leaving. And Kate, you walk in the door to see a conglomeration of Dietrichs, one against the window or in a chair against the wall reading.
Sabella has kind of moved once they left, kind of twirled over by the poet and just like plopped onto the whatever he's sitting on, sighing and laughing a little.
They've all left other than the poet at this point?
No. You came in right as they were kind of gathering up. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Am I interrupting something?
Kate, roll a listen check.
Alrighty.
She is just laughing.
Fail.
Sabella, roll a listen check.
Okay. Success.
Sabella, what you hear is as soon as these 5 decidedly studious and scholarly Dietrichs turn around and are faced with Kate O'Callahan, they've read all the files. They know everything that is to be known about this volatile human being. You hear Cthulhu Mythos Dietrich say, "Oh, we're all going to die." But he says it just beneath.
In
everybody
German, I say, "Yes, you are. You better scamper."
We can't get past this using that way.
Just
so
say,
yes.
Excuse me, Miss O'Callahan.
I'm not going to say it. And the cult teacher goes, shut up.
They'd like to get by, Katie.
Well, then they can be polite gentlemen and ask to be excused. And she's just staring at him.
In a uniform way, they all say, "Excuse me, Auf Wiedersehen," and they bow and like as they walk out, "Pardon me," and they all leave and as soon as the door is like halfway closed, you hear running in the stone hallway outside.
Sabella falls down, laughing.
There is a chuckle from Poet Dietrich, who's still there, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Kate's not laughing.
Well, that was good, Katie.
What, Belle? What the hell was that about?
Oh, we were doing some research.
On what?
Occult artifacts, and pocket watches, and in the puzzle box. It was a lot of staring and making sounds like I don't know, like this. I don't know. Hi, how are you? You look not like I look. Hello.
Kate is sort of eyeing Poet Dietrich. And this one, he's a researcher too?
I mean, he can speak for himself if you want, Joseph.
I should leave you two alone. He gets up and puts his bookmark in his book and puts it under "Good evening," and he leaves.
Later. Yes,
But
Katie?
he is not running down the hall when the door closes.
Well, look, Belle, I was wondering if maybe you could take a look at something for me. I draw the amulet out from under my, from the top of my flight suit. I've been trying to figure this thing out since Wally gave it to me, and I mean, I got part of it, but I've seen it do so much more. I think that somehow it can be like a doorway. That's what it did for us in Berlin anyway, for me and Dwight. But I can't figure the damn thing out. I thought maybe if you took a look at it, you just understand these things a whole lot better than I do.
Sometimes I definitely won't make that sound they were making when I look at it. Sure. Calm down. Sure, I'll look at it, and I assume I've got like a big spread of books and such and cross-reference things everywhere on a big table, so I'll just take it and go over there.
Yeah, I hand it to you and follow along. I want to be able to see what you're doing.
Mostly reading and thinking. But I'll take a look at it. What do I see? What is it?
It's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for?
Well, I'm just trying to, because I assume she told me how to activate the fog part. So I want to look for anything kind of similar activation method, maybe different combination, because I think it has a lot of writing on it, right?
It does, yeah. You've tried to read that writing before, though, and it hasn't gotten you anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's not that you don't understand it; it's just that you're not sure if it's meant to be understood. But when you mechanically, what you're doing here is a cross between like a power check and your own type of like psychometry, like exploratory looks into this thing. Why don't we roll? Give me a power check and give me a psychometry reading, and I'll be able to tell you, because you are at full power right now in Castle Dietrich, so this is the first time you've been this way for quite some time.
Is there anything that I can, just maybe knowledge of Parsons himself or something like that I can offer that would be a reasonable assist here?
Yeah, what we'll say, Allison, is that Kate, if she maintains not necessarily contact with Sabella, but contact with the amulet while the psychometry reading's going on, it will be able to give Sabella kind of a surface glean of the man that was Jack Parsons, because she never met him. So in doing that, it's almost as if Sabella's going into this area, Kate's providing a map. Look for this, look for that. This might be that. And as you go in, yeah, with those two readings, you do in fact find out that there is the mechanical element of drawing forth this spell from inside of this that would create this kind of very thick, dense fog that would fill an area until the wearer so deemed it not to. And upon, this takes probably about the better part of 2 hours as you're sitting there kind of just really working in this. And Kate, you're not as drawn into this moment as Sabella needs to be, as she's kind of just, time passes much quickly for Sabella. So Kate, you have a lot of time where you just kind of have your finger like looped through the attachment of the necklace, and as you're sitting there, Sabella is going through all of this. Sabella, here's what you glean about the amulet. You do not know how to activate it per se, but there is definitely a secondary element to it that in all intents and purposes is the primary function of this amulet. You believe that the fog was added later. It was something that was probably reconstituted. You don't know if an element of the amulet itself holds this attachment and was added later, but the original part of this amulet is some type of transposition, some type of the ability to take one person to another place. And as you were sitting and kind of learning these things, and you've done a tremendous amount of research on the pocket watches, you believe this is different. Whereas the pocket watches have a very mechanical, click this, you go to the purple, click them together, you can use the time element from it. They seem manufactured. This seems almost elemental. This seems very raw. It is definitely probably more refined and precise than the pocket watches. It's almost as if the pocket watches were trying to be this amulet but they failed in both their aesthetics and their function. But you do not know how to activate it. You think with some more research you would, though.
I can keep it for a while, Katie. I'm sure it does what you say it does. I'm not quite sure yet.
You're not going to show it to them, are you?
You wouldn't want me to, even if it would expedite the process.
I don't think so. Belle, I just don't understand how we've all seen what they become. We've seen what they're responsible for. How can you trust them?
They haven't done it yet, Kate. They're trying to stop.
I don't know, Belle. I don't know.
Okay. What don't you know exactly?
It just feels like we're getting played again. At what point are we going to step out and take control for ourselves?
You don't feel in control.
When have we ever been in control? Since the day Jack Kilgrave picked up the phone and called us. When have we been in control?
I have always been in control of what I decide to do.
Well, I don't trust them, Belle. But I trust you. You keep it. You do whatever you need to do.
Okay. Maybe you should go for a walk. I feel like you've been just brooding. Looking pale.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I'll go with you.
Okay. Where you want to go?
I don't know. It's a castle. Let's go explore.
And with that comment, as the camera pulls out of the area, as Cato Callahan and Sabella Ives do in fact go to explore the Castle of Dietrich, we are going to draw in on two of our other Athenians, as Elijah Sawyer and Dr. Greta von Krauss have a moment.
Let's see. Elijah's been doing a lot of nighttime skulking, as I said. The only times he's seen Greta in the past few days is probably trying to be nice, knowing Greta for being honest, probably like dropping food off to the lab for her because she's probably not getting out too much. 2 or 3 days. Sometime she'd probably find him around midnight up on the rooftop of the castle.
Yeah, she'd come out there and she'd be having like a big borrowed coat on because it's really cold up here at night on the roof of the castle. It's not like, an ideal terrain for human habitation. So she'd have an extra bulky coat with her as well. And she'd kind of crawl out the window onto the roof, kind of hold it out to Sawyer and say, as you'll primary care physician, I would recommend you put this on. It is extraordinarily cold, and I do not wish to treat you for hypothermia or pneumonia.
He takes it pretty readily, because he is much too southern for this kind of temperature. He throws it on over his arms. Oh, now ain't this a change? Last time we were alone, I recall you taking clothes off. Sorry. No. I'm kind of a bitch. Like, it's just an unhealthy coping mechanism. How are you holding up?
You're fine. It is not true, everyone. And everyone has different ways of coping mechanisms and for dealing with stress and things. She kind of like pull her coat around her a little bit more, like look over, like awkwardly look away, maybe for a second. Me, I am alive. Yeah, my injuries are healing faster than predicted, which is just sehr good, since we seem to be getting shot at a lot quite recently. Not been sleeping well, so as my hypothesis is that this is the result of stresses of recent events. You are awake as well. Perhaps you're not sleeping good either.
Elijah's trying to learn to be quiet and to shut up for once, so it takes him a minute to reply. He always has that, like, cold, frigid aura of calculation about him when he talks to people. He's not trying to get anywhere or pry anything out of her, though, so he, like, really doesn't know how to act. I would tell you that it's all right, and there's absolutely no way you're gonna get hurt again here on my watch, but with Kate running around, like, I'm not making any promises. Yeah, I'm not sleeping well either. Too much noise in my head. If my brain is a symphony, then my conductor is drunk at the helm. In fact, I think the trumpet players are staging a coup. If I close my eyes, I keep seeing that other world, the good one. Either that or what Joe Dietz showed us. I'm not quite sure which one's scarier.
The other world. When I close my eyes lately, it is to sleep. My mind will play those memories over, and I will analyze every detail, think about the possibilities that could have been, and then when I'm awake, there are other older memories that were a bit hazy and distant, but now they are very fresh and newer, and I've been trying to distract myself in the lab with science and experiments, but it's not working. So I just gonna kind of stare out for a moment and then take a deep breath. And if I had remembered that what had happened before we went, I would never have left.
Never left. They were trying to manipulate us. Like, everything in there was specifically engineered to try and toy with us and pull on our heartstrings. I mean, like, luckily for me, they were way off on mine. I'm a dreamer. It's gonna take a whole lot more than that, Virginia, to keep someone like me content. You're a logical person, Doc, so this is gonna be extra hard on you. Like, none of this is making any damn sense. There's too many compounding variables, you know? You can't take anything at face value. Who knows what would have happened if we stayed there? Lancaster probably would have just killed us.
Very little is making sense lately, but I know that Lancaster was being sincere. I could read it. I could see it on his face. They wanted us there so that we wouldn't interfere here, but does that make the other place any less real? It looked real, and you cannot always trust your eyes, but it felt real. It tasted real. We exhibited no signs of hallucination. I don't know. And the people there, I
He kind of turns to face Greta a little bit better. Hell, Doc, I just realized you sit everyone else down on the proverbial couch. Who's your shrink? If anyone's head needs a little shrinking, it's probably yours. Here, I went to school. Tell me if I sound like a proper psychologist. Ah, ja, Fräulein von Kraus, it has been too long. I understand that you are being teased currently. How does that make you feel, mein Liebling?
Mine head does not need shrinking. It is quite proportional. Oh, your accent is terrible. She just lingers in the face palm for like a good minute, just to be like shaking her head. It seems like everyone's just doing the horrible impersonations of German accents lately. But she'll kind of give like a slight smile and just. I'm glad you are here. Even though you make me cringe as you butcher my language, I'm not good with talking and stuff and anyways and things, but you listen and that's his words.
Of course I'm gonna listen. We care about each other. You're not just some co-worker. Stuff and things, huh? No idea what you're talking about. That was incredibly eloquent.
It's very technical. Yeah.
If I'm being serious, though, it's honestly not all it's cracked up to be, talking to people. I mean, I just learned how to tell people what they want to hear. Because I had to.
Elia, do you remember when you answered the phone that one time? And we had a brief conversation and I told you I would only kill you in self-defense.
New York. Yes, Fraulein, I recall. That was quite the single nicest thing anyone has ever said to me.
Well, I wanted to inform you that I've changed my mind.
Informing me, are you? How formal. All right. Please color me intrigued. For once, I have no idea what you're going to say next.
Well, after much thought and consideration over the past few days, I wanted to inform you that I would not kill you at all.
Much thought and consideration. You're either being funny or you're really overthinking things. I can't imagine hurting any of you, but it's still nice to hear. Like, is that weird?
Yeah.
Either way, you probably shouldn't tell anyone about your sudden empathy, or they'll think I'm grooming you or something.
I simply thought I should inform you. I would never tell anyone else. And it is not sudden empathy. I really do just have no desire to kill someone I care about again.
No, I'm just... Again, huh? Greta, tell me about Hans.
She's gonna kind of sit down and tuck her knees under her chin on the roof. It's cold. She's kind of unsteady on her feet. And she's gonna... Well, we met and eventually became friends while in university. I was a teenager. A few years after we graduated, I got offered a job as his lab partner at his uncle's pharmaceutical company. We specialized in bioengineering and it hit it off, I think it's the American slang. We were partners in and outside of the lab for a little over 10 years. He was one of the few people I've ever been friends with. A little over a year or so ago, the lab was not doing well. Our research funding was severely cut, so we began to experiment on ourselves as a last resort. And the last experiment, it did not end well. He transformed into something inhuman, and it happened very, very quickly, and I had to kill him to save myself. It was a blur, and then I woke up in my father's hospital 6 months later.
Wow. What a fucking shit show. I wouldn't have wanted to come back either. How are you so brave, huh? He kind of like bumps her. He'll look at her and kind of copy her position, like tuck his knees up under his chin. I can't even imagine. I mean, it was easy for me. They did the same thing, like important people from my past, but they really miscalculated mine. I'm happier the further away I get from her, so I guess I have no frame of reference. I wish there was something I could do to help, but the whole situation's kind of a shit show.
Well, first of all, I am not brave at all. Bravery is a perceived social construct for when someone overcomes a base human instinct to either flee or cower or does something else instead. I tend to have a very high sense of self-preservation, not typically associated with bravery, but everyone has occasional stupid moments.
It's not stupid to put aside selfish thoughts. In fact, the ability to do so is the only thing that separates modern humans from cavemen or chimpanzees. There is no function more evolved physically, emotionally, and morally than putting aside what you want for the good of someone else. And we need you here anyway.
Are you really happier with her farther away? Typically, people enjoy the company of their loved ones.
Typically. I think you'll find, Doctor, that amongst the many words that describe me, typical is not one of them. Your name is Ruth. I don't like people, Doc. Humans are disgusting.
It is true.
There are very few people out there that don't make me gag. I mean, look at us. Kate has such an inflated sense of pride, she's willing to throw a fit and a temper tantrum instead of trying to save all humanity. That's where her priorities lie. There's nothing more selfish than putting yourself before other people, and she just did that to the population of the entire world. And look at Sabella, she's a whore. Do you know she's kissing on Phil, Dietrich, and Kate? Like, right now. And those are only the ones I know about. Does she know how that would make her loved ones feel? No. Selfish, selfish, selfish. Dwight, he's on this self-righteous quest to repent from his sins in the war, but he's not repenting to try to help other people. He's just trying to make it so he can sleep at night. He's the most selfish one out of all of them, because he's masquerading like it's actually some holy quest, and it would have been better off if he just got shot in the war and died, because then instead of having to suffer here with the rest of us, he'd just be dead. Then there's, and Elijah's going to stop for a second and kind of eye over Greta, look her up and down. There's me. I'm a bad person. I lie, cheat, steal, hurt people. And don't try to talk me out of it. I've had this drilled into my head since I could walk. I'm not a good person. And Ruth, she's naive. She's dumb. She doesn't look out for herself. She cares about other people. She's an angel. There is nothing more good and pure a girl can be in this world than pretty, kind, and dumb. She deserves much better than this world, than this life, than me. Elijah's pretty good at controlling himself and appearing however he wants to, so his voice doesn't waver, but his eyes are gonna get all like red and glassy at this point. I'm not selfish. I don't want to hold her back, so I do what I have to. Deposit money into her bank account, make myself scarce. There's a lot of words that can describe me, Doc, but selfish is not one of them. I haven't seen her in about 4 years. I hope she got into school. I always told her to, but it's hard for women. In the US anyway, especially ones like her. She's probably got herself a boyfriend or husband by now. And I don't even care. In fact, the idea makes me happy. I don't want her as a prize. I just want her to be happy and have the life she deserves. And I'm not part of that.
Well, I don't disagree with the majority of your assessments of the others. I have come to similar conclusions. And then she's gonna notice that his eyes kind of get a little red and puffy, and then she's gonna, in perhaps a less awkward than typical Greta way, she's gonna kind of just pull him in for an embrace, and
He just kind of leans over into her.
4 years. That is very generous of you. It is very difficult to watch from afar and not be intimate and involved with the one that you care about. I am sorry.
You don't have anything to be sorry about.
But I'm also a bit intrigued as to your thoughts on me. You gave your assessment of everyone else, including yourself.
You. All right, let's see. You feel your emotions very strongly. Maybe stronger than anyone else here. That's why you try to hide it behind your science and your strict German logic act. Because you hurt, and it's easier to try and hide it than deal with it. And there's no sin in that, though. You strike me as very sincere and trying to help.
I do not know if I want to continue to bother with science still right now. But I most likely will, because it is necessary and no one else is going to do it. She's just gonna kind of close her eyes for a moment and maybe, lean her head on his shoulder. And, I'm kind of seeing if he'll allow it. Just testing the waters there a little bit.
He does. There's a gentle head, bump. He's not going to say anything. He's probably going to be quiet for however long.
Yeah. She'll sit there for a moment. And then eventually she'll just say, "It is freezing. I am very tired, and we are both in pain. We are a mess."
All right. We'll head inside. Doctor's orders. Man, who's looking after you, huh? You're not sleeping. You are not eating. What would you do without me? Come on.
I wouldn't have anyone to talk to. And she'll kind of just, help him up, or he'll help her get up, and then they'll crawl back through the window, and she would have had a pot of hot tea ready to just shove it in his face if he didn't want to talk about anything, and be like, "Don't get hypothermia." And so she'll pour them each a cup of probably warm tea now, not hot tea. And cup to warm up inside.
And as the camera pulls back from the two as they climb back in to Castle Dietrich, we'll prepare to say goodnight for this episode of Project Athena. But as we are swirling around, and as it is now the first week in October 1933, in the kitchen of Castle Dietrich, two of the long tables have been pushed together, and in the middle of the night, Dietrich Prime stands and looks down at various letters and various maps. And he drops his head as before him lies a telegram, a communique from Berlin. And it simply says, "They're coming." And that is where we will end this episode of Project Athena. All right, kids. Let's zip around and say goodnight, as it is almost the witching hour for us here at Pulp Cthulhu's Project Athena. Let us jump up to one Elijah Sawyer. Strider, how are you doing today, buddy?
Doing well. I'm still going to press you to see who's going to win in a fight between Dwight and Elijah. Because Elijah has an okay brawl. Check, so...
You will have time to fight Dwight if you so wish it, but I will remind you that Dwight just rolled in.
He has a 0 chance.
See why I have to? He's so cocky.
He's really good at things he's never tried before.
He thinks he's gonna beat him just like he beat him shooting that, what was it, a monkey back in Bolivia? Where, yeah. Jesus. Okay. All right,
like
Strider.
I like these streams where we can decompress and figure out what's going on with everyone. Because it's either run, and this is the first time they've had to sit down for a long time. So, needed, favorite. I'll be here next week. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will be back next week, everybody. And let's drop right down to who will be in the opposite corner from Elijah Sawyer next week when the bell rings, as we will see Elijah and Dwight Burke going some bare knuckle
Dwight's not
fighting.
even going to fight him. I mean, that's a joke. Oh, after what he said? Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, yeah, Dwight will fight him. If he wants to learn, he'll slap him around a little bit. He'll even let Sawyer get a punch or whatever. But I had a fun time, man. We'll see what goes from here. I'm ready to rumble. I'm ready looking past Sawyer. I'm ready to rumble with whatever you got, buddy. But I would like to have some magic bullets. I keep talking about magic bullets.
You had one. You pissed it away.
I did piss it away. I did. However, I
You want more?
I love the fact that you told Greta that we could have more. So maybe Sabella could start like producing
bullets.
Yeah, why not? I mean, listen, hey, this is all fantasy. So why can't I can't fantasize about magic bullets?
Getting more bullets? Yeah, go right ahead. All right, everybody.
Typing something. Thank you.
Steve's link is in chat. Go ahead and follow him as he
follow
is Big
me.
Pig 50,000.
Follow them. Follow me. Follow everybody. Have fun. Love yous.
Nice. And let's drop down to Cato Callahan. Allison, how are you doing this evening?
Doing all right. I love getting to role play with y'all. I mean, I love getting to punch Nazis and shit too. It's one of my very favorite things, but getting to role play with you and watching you as you play off one another, it's amazing stuff. Some of the best I've ever seen. I get to role play with other really cool people as well. You can catch me on a couple of fantastic podcasts. God's Fallen Wander Quest. Check that out on my Twitter at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y. And until next time, I'll see you there. Mwah.
Nice. As we say goodnight to America's flying sweetheart, we fly over to German's spider person, climber of castles and bringer of tea. Greta, Lindy, how are you doing?
I'm doing super spiffy. I made it. Traffic
You
didn't want
did.
me to, but I made it. I'm gonna have to watch the first half of the episode. I want to know what I missed. I'm sad I missed anything at all, but I'm super glad I got to have some RP. Greta is she's having an interesting couple of weeks. I'm sure lots of sciencing gets done. Her whole heart's not in it, and it's just we're gonna have to see what happens. She had a good talk with Elijah on the roof. That was good, and I cannot wait for next week. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. so excited. Oh yeah, you can find me online, I guess. The place is at Laugh Love Lindy. I'm just so into the session right now. At Laugh Love Lindy on the Twitches and the Twitter, where I do metric tons of Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, and other tabletop role-playing game shenanigans. Tonight, I'm gonna call out for those of you in like, I don't know, 4 hours? No, 5 hours? 1 a.m. Eastern time, I will be DMing a one-shot on Encounter Roleplay's 48-hour stream. There's gonna be shenanigans, masquerade ball, and an attempted assassination, so check it out. If you're awake.
What else could you ask for at 1 a.m? That is
Right?
just the if you're looking at 1 a.m, it says what to do at 1 a.m, and then you just listed it out, like the top couple things to do at 1.
Yeah.
Assassination, of course,
I will
being
be awake.
the first. Nice. Okay, everybody. Lindy is in chat. Please follow that link. As we drop off with Sabella Ives, Lauren, how are you doing this fine Sunday Eve?
Doing good. Excited to be back in the groove of things. You can find me over on Twitter at thatsaltyginger. And I think this is my main thing until fall starts. So you can catch me here every Sunday. And then I'll be over on Scraticus's channel on Mondays and over on the Greyhawk channel on Saturday nights. So I'll see y'all around.
Fantastic. As for me, I am Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. If you ever want to know what's happening on the channel, best place to go is Twitter to find it out. As for this week, we do have on Friday from 12 to 2, Conan, Age Undreamed Of, with the 2d20 Modiphius system. We also have Firefly, Tales from the Big Damn Verse from 2 to 4. We don't have Project Chronos this week, as we are off, as con season is taking control of the cast members, which is fantastic, and everybody's going out into the real world, which should be promoted at any moment that you're able to walk out into the sunshine, much like Kate and Sabella did this evening. But what to look for on the channel, we do have one-shots that will be coming up in the next couple weeks as we begin to play some different systems. We will have requests for viewers if you guys want to get involved. We're going to be doing from Tales from the Loop, some kids on bikes, some Star Trek, some other fun stuff. So you will see several of these faces. Hopefully we'll see your face too if you would like to play in any of these things. Please follow me on Twitter, and when you see something you like, speak up. I want to play with everybody that's out there. This is much like Scraticus's channel, much like Encounter Roleplay, much like Unmade Gaming. We want all the people to play all the games with all of us. And as I am the keeper for this one, and as 2018 is not the greatest of years, we will be waiting here for you in 1933 to hopefully give you a moment to smile, think about things, go insane a little bit. So as the keeper, please roll dice better than I do, and we will see you next week.